Verse of the day comes from Psalms 40:1. I waited patiently and expectantly for the Lord, and he inclined to me and heard my cry. So first, go ahead and clean the meat off. You do want to make sure you remove any little impurities, any excess stuff that may be on the meat, and use plenty of paper towels. You do want to pat the meat dry because we will be searing it first before we place it in the oven. And the seasonings that I will be using is garlic and herbs, some steak seasoning, thyme and basil, as well as some paprika. And you also do this on the other side, season both sides, and then you just want to rub all the seasoning in. Now I'm over here at the stove, and you want to go ahead and get you a cast iron skillet. Just add a little bit of olive oil. And then we're going to go ahead and brown both sides, about 3 to 4 minutes on both sides. We're going to get a nice sear on the meat before we place it in the oven. Just be sure to sear the other side as well and go ahead and turn your oven on at 400 degrees. We're going to cook at 400 degrees for about 45 minutes to an hour until it is nice and tender. Next, I'm just going to add a little bit more seasoning. I have some thyme and rosemary. Just going to add that to the chops. We want that fresh, earthy taste as well. And once you combine all these ingredients, you're going to see just how super tasty it is with our dry rub. And the dry rubs already have a good amount of salt in it, so the flavor is going to be wonderful. Now this is optional, but if you like, go ahead and add you some bell peppers. I have a red pepper and some onions. I also like to get a little can of that Rotel, and it's just some tomatoes we're going to add on top. And then you're going to slice up a couple pieces of butter. We're going to baste it after the first 20 minutes, and that's going to really bring out the flavor. It's going to give us a nice tender pork steak. So go ahead and add in your onions and bell pepper. And if you like to add just a little bit more seasoning, you can as well. And then we're going to place this in the oven at 400 degrees for about 45 minutes to an hour. So go ahead and put the lid on top. We're going to cook this covered. If you have some foil, you can do that as well. Just be sure it is covered. In about 20 minutes into the cooking process, go ahead and get you a spoon and start basting the steak. Now on to the cabbage. I am shredding some cabbage. You can cut or chop however you like to prepare your cabbage. You can also take out your kale, fresh kale. If you have a bag of kale, go ahead and start preparing that. Once you're done cutting it, just be sure to wash and rinse your vegetables. Also, go ahead and chop you up some onions and about 3 slices of bacon, and we're going to go ahead and get that cooked. So you want to go ahead and add your onions. Going to also add some minced garlic and 3 slices of bacon. I've already cut up the bacon. That's optional too. If you don't want to add bacon, you don't have to add the bacon. But go ahead and saute, cook all that together for a few minutes until the bacon is cooked through. And then you just want to go ahead and start adding in your kale. The kale takes just a little longer to cook, so go ahead and start with your kale first. And then you can cover this for the first 5 minutes so we can get the cooking process going on the kale. So I'm going to go ahead and cover for just a few minutes until the kale starts to cook and wilt down. Then I'm going to check in and stir it up some, and then you can start adding in your cabbage. And I have my burner on a medium-high heat, and then I'm going to also cover this for about 10 minutes. And you can go ahead and add some seasoning. I'm adding some garlic and herb seasoning as well as salt and pepper to taste. And I cooked this for about a total of 15 minutes. If you want your cabbage and kale a little bit more tender, you can cook it a little longer. It just depends if you want it tender or more crunchy. But after about 15 minutes, it was hot and ready. Now I have taken out the pork steaks and I'm just basting it a little bit. There's all the butter. Just go ahead and drizzle all that on top. And to make it a complete meal, go ahead and get you some baked sweet potatoes or maybe some mashed potatoes or even a side of rice. And you have yourself a delicious dinner. Thank you guys so much for watching and for supporting this channel. God bless you all. I will see you on the next one.